and welcome back to my channel. My name's Em and I'm here to give you helpful tips for money making so you can maximise your side hustle earnings and avoid any time wasters. In this video, I wanted to talk about online surveys and how to make the most of them so you're not giving up hours of your time for pennies. I'm talking from my own experience here because I've done years and years on online survey sites and I've really seen the positives and the negatives of them. Make sure you watch on to the end of the video because I'll be talking about a really cool survey website which I've discovered recently and which seems to be a very legitimate way to make a worthwhile amount of money. Before I get started, I just want to apologise for if I'm a little bit slow making videos over the next few weeks. I'm preparing for some quite important interviews at the end of April, and so I might only be uploading fortnightly, but by May I'll be uploading weekly again, and I've got lots more side hustle content ready to produce for you guys, so please do subscribe and stick around for that. Let's talk about online paid surveys. I think as a side hustle they have a bit of a bad reputation, probably partly because often you can toil away for hours and then come away with just pennies as a reward, but also because often you'll be invited to surveys and then you'll be partway through and be screened out because you don't fit the profile they're looking for. I've been through this time and time again with survey websites and apps, and I think it's very frustrating when I'm recommended a survey platform only to go onto it and find that it pays £1 an hour or less. I think in the past I would have plugged away at these sites on the basis that every little helps. But this really leads me to my first tip, which is when you're doing online surveys, know your worth. Making your time productive is a good thing, and if you really enjoy the process of doing online surveys, then maybe you don't mind how much you're getting paid for them. But would you really accept like 50 to 75p an hour for any other job? The other morning, I spent about half an hour diligently filling out a survey on a survey app, only to be told that I was going to be paid 20p for my efforts. And I couldn't believe the difference in payment when that afternoon I did a focus group online and was paid £60 for 1 hour. I think when we're talking about using your time well, you have to really question whether these 10, 20 or 30p surveys are a productive use of your time, especially when there are things like focus groups out there which are paying you so much more for probably less effort. And when you do realise there are companies out there who are willing to pay you so much for your opinions, it does seem a bit senseless to give the same opinions away for pennies or basically for free. This is about knowing the value of your time, your energy and your opinions, and then finding a company who really values them as much as you do and as much as you deserve. One really good way to find the websites which offer what you consider to be enough money is by tracking your earnings. This is my second tip. So often survey websites will tell you how much they're going to pay you to do a survey, and they'll probably tell you how long it's going to take you as well. But in my experience, it's quite rare to come across a survey website which will tell you how much they're going to pay you per hour, which I think is really important if you're trying to do things like compare sites and work out which are worth your time. I think it's very easy to feel pleased when you do a survey, you get an instant payment of say 30p just for clicking away on an app. But you might start to feel very differently about it when you realise the survey took you 15 minutes. And so if you did these for an hour, you'd only be paid maybe £1 for your hour of work. This can be quite striking, especially I think if you know there are similar apps and websites out there which pay you quadruple or maybe even 10 times the same amount. And so I think sitting down with an Excel spreadsheet and working out which survey platforms pay you most per hour is a really good way to work out which ones deserve your loyalty. This leads me on to my third tip, which is choose your go-to online survey platforms and commit to them. Since becoming a part of Instagram and the kind of side hustle and finance community that's on there, I've realised how many people use a ton of survey platforms all at the same time. So it seems like people are using 5 to 10 survey platforms, maybe even more than 10, and then bringing in about £3 to £10 from each one per month. Again, of course, the money all adds up, and I can see why you might want to keep your options open in this way. However, for me, I think having all of those survey platforms competing for my attention might in fact lower my productivity and would certainly feel very chaotic. I actually tried this myself for a few weeks. I had lots of survey platforms on the go at once, and I just found that my brain became a bit scrambled, and also because my phone had so many notifications coming in from different apps, I actually ended up missing the ones that paid more money. My personal recommendation would be that once you've tried out some survey platforms and worked out which ones you enjoy, and most importantly, which ones pay you the most money, then choose 1 or 2 favourites and stick to them and spend time on them. By spending time and getting to know a survey platform, you'll probably be rewarded for your loyalty with better surveys, and you'll also learn which is the best time to go online for the best surveys and which surveys pay the most. I've already mentioned my favourite survey website, Toluna, in a previous video and why I love it so much. So if you do want to hear more about that, I recommend you go and check out the video. But put briefly, by spending time on Toluna, I learned that I could get paid for trying new food products, that I could get invites to highly paid online communities, and also just find high point surveys by spending more time on the website. I wouldn't have learnt about these if I hadn't committed some proper time to Toluna, and I think there is something to be said for loyalty over quantity here. However, it does help to have a backup when surveys are proving a bit hard to come by on your go-to website or app. And this leads me on to the last part of the video where I'm going to talk about a new survey website which I discovered recently and really like. This survey site is called Prolific, and it's one that I found out from other YouTubers and also from the Instagram community. Prolific is an interesting survey site because rather than like other survey websites just asking questions about products and services so they can sell their products better, Prolific pays you to be part of online scientific research studies. These surveys can still be about lots of different topics, but this time your opinion is actually helping universities and companies learn more about human behaviour and thinking. The other thing about Prolific that makes it stand out for me is that even though its surveys tend to be only about 5 to 15 minutes long, they tell you not only how much they're going to pay you, but how much they'd pay you if you were to do them for an hour. This allows you to compare more easily to other survey websites, and the pay is always decent as well, so it's normally from £5 to £10 or even more per hour. This still isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, but it's far, far more reasonable than a lot of the platforms out there. It pays on time and you feel like you're actually contributing to something of value. The only downside with Prolific really is that sometimes surveys aren't available and you have to wait for them. And I found what helps with this is installing the Prolific browser plugin to my laptop, which means that every time I go onto the internet, I get notified if there are any new studies, and I find that really helps me to make the most of the website. And of course, as I already use Toluna regularly, Prolific just acts as a nice side hustle backup. And that's it. 3 tips and a great new site to help you make the most out of online surveys. This side hustle does require commitment and patience, but if you've got a free hour and want to do something useful with it, then I'm hoping my video has helped you to maximise your earnings and avoid those 20p time wasters. For my next video, I'm excited to say that I'll be talking about my 1-month project where I earned almost £500 doing side hustles and how I did it. And I'll be doing that as soon as I've got my interviews out the way, so please do stay tuned for that. I'm also hoping that with the pandemic restrictions loosening, I'll soon be able to make videos about in-person side hustles as well as online ones. I wish you good luck with your money making, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.